So tonight we are looking at the narrative method concept of awe. That's awareness, wonder, and empathy. And with awe and the awe that it evokes in you, you are invited to make a point of experiencing your life in that presence as much as you can. And the more you do it, the more beauty you will see. So tonight we are going to be in conversation with the wonderful Annie Korzen. She is a TikTok sensation, the author of the book Annie, Humor, Heart, and Chutzpah from an Accidental Influencer. She was the recurring Doris Klumpus on Seinfeld and has written humorous essays for the New York Times, LA Times, and more. Annie has performed her solo shows on 3 continents. She's a Moth main stage storyteller and can be heard on the Moth. Annie has been interviewed by Oprah Winfrey, Tavis Smiley, Dr. Phil, and Shari Foos. We will post her contact info and how to follow her and her socials in the chat. So, Annie, wave one.
Shari.
Annie, you say my name so well. I'm so curious, and it was just really great timing. In today's New Yorker, Adam Gopnik wrote a story, and the title is "What Do We Want from Comedy?" And the headline says, "We insist that comedians respect our sacrosanct ideals and pray that they skewer our sanctimony. It's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it." Annie, do
Well,
that dirty job.
here's the thing. I don't really call myself a comic because a comic's job is to get laughs. And I consider myself more of a humorist, which is a more old-fashioned word. But as a humorist, I tell stories. I'm really a storyteller. And what I want in my stories and also my book, and here's the book of Annie. Yay! Is I want to make people laugh, but I also want to provoke some emotions. I just performed with the Moth last night in Portland,
Oh, wow.
2,700 people in the audience. And what I want, we were all talking about, I want to get laughs, but I also want to get tears. I also want to stir people up emotionally. So that's not, stand-ups don't want that. Although stand-up, the world of comedy is changing, and a lot more comics are actually doing storytelling rather than just going for the gags.
Well, there's not a lot of comedy that holds up over time. Even a brilliant show like Mary Hartman, it just isn't funny anymore, probably because so many people adopted that style,
Right.
that deadpan. But I really want to ask you, what was it like to get discovered after a lifetime of writing and performing?
It was totally unexpected, and to me, still totally inexplicable. I don't get it myself. I had a young friend. She's 30. I never could have done this without a young person. I don't know how to do TikTok. I can barely take a selfie. And I said, and it was just before the pandemic started. And I said, I love storytelling. I love speaking my own words. I've done solo shows, blah, blah, blah. I'd really like to find a larger audience. I'm thinking maybe of putting some little clips up on Instagram, which I don't know how to use. And she said, oh, she's 30. Oh, Instagram, it's so toxic. It's so over. You belong on TikTok. And I said, but that's ridiculous because my audience, I thought, my target audience are people like me, older, educated women, urban women, largely Jewish women. Who's going to watch me on TikTok? And she said, trust me, you will go viral. And that's exactly what happened.
That's
so when I walk
amazing.
down the street, the fans who come up to me are kids, and a lot of young Black men, and a lot of young gay kids, and a lot of Gen Z. So I don't quite understand it, but I'm grateful for it. And I appreciate it. And it's just, to me, it's an unexpected miracle, but I cannot really explain it.
It's just such a fascinating phenomenon. And also, just in terms of merging these two external identities of yourself.
Mhm.
Um, how did working all those years, ups and downs, impact the way you felt about yourself as an artist?
That's an interesting question. I'm not well. Not well. How shall I say it? I never thought I was a great actress, but I'm a good comedy actress. I know how to find the funny, have good timing. I never thought of myself as a, you know, great actress. Uh, I did think that my writing and speaking was special and original and authentic. And I was frustrated that I couldn't find a larger audience for it. And after a while, so how shall I say it? I never lost confidence in my abilities, but I definitely lost confidence in the possibility that I would ever find the audience that I desired. And I
Mm,
was wrong. I did,
I'm
because I
so
just
glad
kept
you were
working
wrong.
at it.
Yeah,
Hmm?
I think it's such a fragile balance between being depressed, uh,
Mhm.
and knowing what you have. Um, I just wonder how that's changed you now that you see that they get it.
The thing is also, I mean, we've all experienced failure, right? I'm assuming failure, hands, who's experienced failure? And the thing that we forget is that failure can be a terrific learning op. There were a couple of things I wanted in my life. I wanted to be a member of a certain theater company in LA. I wanted to work with a moth. Those things took me years of trying and being rejected.
Mm,
And as I was trying and as I was being rejected, I kept working on my stuff. And finally, when I got into the theater company, which is not that significant, I said to them, "What took you so long? Why did you finally decide to take me?" And they said, "Well, you got better." And I thought, oh my God, they're right. All these years of not doing it right, I kept working on it and I kept getting better. And now I'm very, as I say, I'm very confident about my abilities
yeah,
because I have failed enough to know to learn how to do it right.
I hear you.
I'm going to
That's
say that again because it should be on a t-shirt. I have failed enough to learn how to do it right.
And not just that, from the way that you just told this story, it sounds like you've also failed enough and expanded enough, because that's what you have to do when you're failing. You got to wake up the next day. You've expanded enough to have the humility to say, "I wasn't that good then."
Yeah, you can't just always think that you're perfect because how are you going to improve?
Exactly,
It's a fine line. You can't think you're perfect, but you also have some confidence that you have a spark of something special in you,
for sure.
you know.
Well, I'm going to stop this conversation here. Not that I want to, but I want to give the folks a chance to do some writing, and we will meet up with you again at the end.